Matt, I feel like we have so much in common, and we've really only met in person like 3 times or maybe 4 times or something. A big thing that's changed in my life over the last 7 or 8 years is my mindset. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I, focus on it from a health perspective, but really, especially in a business perspective, like I used to have such a closed mindset. Like I could never do this much in sales and everything. And my mind is completely changed. What has mindset, how has that played a role for you and in your life and in your business? And just some of your thoughts about it.
I have an acronym I use: mind, body, and spirit. It's actually, I don't have any tattoos, but I have a goal in the next year of getting a tattoo by David Scott Peters' daughter, who just moved to Alaska, so I got a longer trip now. But I want to get a tattoo on my feet that on one foot says unbreakable and the other one says MBS, mind, body, and spirit. Because I truly believe that if I can, as a leader, become as unbreakable as possible mentally, physically, and spiritually, that'll take me to the next level. And all of it revolves around taking care of yourself and your mind. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a great example. You can see the great example right now. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Yeah.
I broke my nose last Monday.
Oh, man.
I've broken my nose 4 times now as an adult. Last Monday night, I'm in Miami, Florida. I'm down there with 3 of my leadership team for a 10X Growth Conference by Grant Cardone, a huge motivational event, great speakers. It was unbelievable. I'm in the pool, and I'm a dumbass. I'll be the first to tell you that. I'm in the pool. I'm swimming underwater, having fun. I don't know what happened. I went the wrong way. It got foggy. I hit the wall. Like literally, jeez. I'm talking, I must have like literally moved my hands at the exact moment and boom. And I knew it was broke because I've done it 3 times. I stand up, blood's everywhere.
Oh,
my nose is bleeding. Here's the cool part about it. So this is what I'm going to get to on this. I get back up to the room, stop the bleeding. My employees are like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the cool thing is I can now breathe out of my other nostril. For 28 years since I broke it last in college, I couldn't breathe out my nostril. I'm like, dude, I just fixed my nose. And they're looking like, what is wrong with you? So then I take a picture and I texted in my group chat to my wife and kids. We have a group chat called Gang Shit. I have a 19 to 21-year-old kid, and I have my wife. We've been married like 25 years this August, together 28, 29. So I send a picture of it in there with no context and I just said, put that. And I said, you won't believe what happened swimming. They didn't sympathize with me or send me this or call me. They texted back, you're an idiot. It's funny. They're making fun of me in the chat. But here's why. They know that shit doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. I broke my nose. I had blood everywhere. I literally, you can't see it, but I have a divot. I put it on Facebook this morning.
I saw it on Facebook. Yeah. I
to
saw
hype
it was
up the
match.
podcast. And if you listen to the podcast, it's 5 minutes of me saying, hey, I've surrounded myself with employees, friends, and family. There's no woe is Matt Plapp. I won the birth lottery. I'm a white dude in America. Like, give me a break. I got it made.
Yeah.
And I think all of us in America have it made, and probably if you're anywhere in the world, have it made to some extent. But that is one thing with me is I don't let things like that affect me. I don't let them derail what I'm doing. And I think that is the biggest aspect of being a leader is that when that stuff affects me, because if I would have let that affect me, and it still hurts to like even move my nose, but if I would have affected me, it would have affected the event for my team that week.
Sure.
And that's not fair.
Yeah.
And if you let things that you can't control affect you, you screw everything up. And so for me, mind, body, and spirit is okay. How do I surround myself with the right people? How do I surround myself with the right self-talk?
Yep.
How do I educate myself on a daily and weekly basis? How do I work out? I work out 2-3 times a day some days. Saturday, I had 4 workouts. And I'm not all of them killing myself, but one of them I'm at a kickboxing class. One I'm doing weights with my buddies at 7 a.m. One I'm doing CrossFit, and then one I'm going for a 1.5 mile walk with my wife. And if I take care of those elements on a consistent basis over a long period of time, I'm going to be in a great place. And then I also, if I showcase those, like that post on Facebook with the broken nose with the podcast link had nothing to do about me getting sympathy. I could care less. I wanted people to listen to the podcast. And when people listen to podcasts and they relate to it, I'm now nurturing them to be my next employee. I've already had 3 text messages today from friends of mine who listen to the podcast and love it. One of them will work for me in the next 2 years. He doesn't know it yet, but he will.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah. I like I said, I could tell we have a lot in common as far as that. And having a positive mindset has really changed my perspective on a lot of different things. And knowing that you are in control and you can always change the situation for the better is huge for me, for sure.
And it's the people around you too.
100%.
I mean, if I would have sent that message to my wife and kids and then they would have called me and pity party and this and that, like They literally, I should have texted. It literally, the first thing back was my son. You're an idiot. And so
That's so good.
it's just the way you cultivate things. And, I think a lot of us have a tendency to be scared to take people out of our lives. We have family members around us. We have people around us that if they aren't contributing to the bigger cause, if they don't believe the opportunity that exists for you in this world, you're insane. There's a guy I follow online, Alex Hermosi, who owns a company called acquisition.com out here in Las Vegas now. But I met him 7-8 years ago when we were using his gym marketing company to help market our gyms. The guy was sleeping on his floor of his gym 7-8 years ago, broke. Fast forward 2 years ago, he exited his companies for like $80 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So anybody out there that tells me whatever we want to do is not available is wrong.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you do. There is an opportunity out there. It just takes you not giving up and not having the mindset that you can give and having the mindset you can give up. If you don't have that, if you're like, you know what, I'm going to keep going, you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, totally agree. That's the longer I'm alive and the longer we're in business, I think that there is so much opportunity and so much abundance, especially when we're living right now. I mean, it's clear to me every single day that if you want it, you have to go out there and take it, ask for it, work for it. It's there, if you want it. Speaking of that, you mentioned the Cardone 10X conference. Can you give us a few takeaways? And I was definitely a little jealous of you being out there because it's something I want to go to. And my lights are going off again. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good.
So let us know a little bit about the 10X conference. That seemed amazing.
Yeah, so I love events like that. And I'm a big fan of Grant Cardone from a standpoint of his mindset. I've watched his business go from $2 million when I first came across his content, like 2016 or 17, to he's over 200 million now. And he's done it through being visible, being accessible, giving. He teaches a lot, does a lot of free stuff, but his events also attract the right people. And so on a monthly basis, I'm in a different city for some event. And I always look at that if I can come out of an event with one item, then I'm in a great place. And I came out of that event with one. I actually came out of that event with about, 39 points. I was trying to make it 37 because my football number in college was 37. And on Monday, we had our team meeting. We have a company-wide Zoom call.
How many days was that conference?
Say what?
How many days was that conference?
3 days.
Okay.
And when I go to these conferences too, I go like uninterrupted, man. I'm not out on phone calls, meetings. You know what? I'm not available for 3 days for the most part. But I took notes on this, and on Monday in our all hands on, what I call the State of the Union every Monday with our team, I deliver a 30-minute speech basically. And this week I delivered the 39 points I wrote down from that event. And I said, hey guys, I'm going to give you these. Some of them are going to resonate with you, some of them aren't. But I'm not going to tell you who said most of them. Here's why. Because there's people at this event that you might not agree with. Tucker Carlson was there. You might be a Democrat. You might not be. So you might hear me say, he said this, like guy's an idiot. Cardone's 12-year-old daughter gave a speech. And she gave me 2 of these 39 are hers. If I told you it came from a 12-year-old, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. So I went through and I mentioned them all. And I walked through and I said, here's why it resonated with me. And some of them I talked about the fact of who said it and why because of context. Like Tyler Perry was one of the people there. It was Tyler Perry, Mike Tyson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I didn't get to see because we had to leave early.
That's awesome.
Let's see who else was there. Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, Tucker Carlson, Saducci, whatever his name was. He was the press secretary for Trump for like a little bit. But Tim Glover, is that his name? The coach, Michael Jordan strength coach from Chicago. So 2 of the things I took from the event, the biggest one.
Tim Grover.
Yeah, Grover. 2 of the things I took, there were 3 big quotes I took away. One of them, ironically, was from Grant Cardone's 12-year-old daughter. And she gave up, and it's wow. He puts his family in these presentations. Like his wife is not that great of a speaker, but she speaks at every one of them, and she gets better every time. And he's doing it because he's trying to build her up. And his 12-year-old daughter is in front of 5,000 people and 200,000 online, and doesn't hesitate. No ums, no likes, no uhs, no awkward moments. Spoke to the audience.
That's amazing.
But she said something in her speech that really resonated with me. She was telling a story about her dad and how people bang on him and he gets a lot of haters. She's like, but you know what? They're talking about him. And that's the key. That's what you have to, like, marketing. You want to be on people's lips. If you're on people's lips, you're in their mind. And if you're in their mind, you win.
Yep.
The other one that Tyler Perry talked about was, I didn't know a whole lot about him as a movie. He's a billionaire, I guess, movie producer.
Huge.
I knew he has the couple big things out there I've seen, but I didn't really know his history. But he had 7 years where he delivered his one play, and he was homeless. He was homeless. He was broke. He was working at fast food restaurants. He'd save up money. He'd get 3 weeks. He'd do the play for 3 weeks. He'd come back to it a year later. Like, how this guy for 7 years did that is beyond me, because the story he told was unbelievable. But he's like, Grant asked him, he said, so what would you do to change those 7 years? Would you give those 7 years of failure back for anything? He's like, no. The 7 years of failure are what taught me to understand what success was and to appreciate what success was. And then the other thing that Jordan and Kobe's coach, which, by the way, if you guys haven't read his books or looked up his stuff, his story of how he became Michael Jordan's trainer is just comical, how it's just so cool. But he talked about obsession. He said that a lot of people are interested in his success. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan weren't interested. They were obsessed with success.
Right.
And so, like, I wrote that down on my desk. In my office now, there's a piece of paper that says, become obsessed with helping restaurants drive sales, because that's my main focus over the next 5 years. Is I personally want to create a platform where a restaurant owner can log into. I do $1.2 million in sales. I want to do $1.4 million. Put it in, and it tells you the formula. We're already working on it. That tells you the marketing output you have to take in order to get the eyeballs, the ears, everything to drive that $200,000 extra in sales. Because I understand that that's the biggest struggle. Businesses don't know how to sell product. And so I wrote on my desk, this giant sign, become obsessed. So I left that conference. If I would have went there, we probably spent $15,000 between all the stuff, I'm guessing. The tickets, we had part of a contract. But if I look at all that money that was spent there, that one word, obsessed, is all I needed to leave with.
Yeah. That's awesome. And those events, we were talking earlier, those events are so special because you're surrounded by people like-minded that want to grow, that are go-getters. And that's why they're at that event. And sometimes the most amount of value is other conversations you have outside of the actual speakers and the presentations that you're listening to. And that's definitely on my list to go out and do more events like that, because I think they are so valuable.
The energy is contagious. And if you want any proof that energy is contagious, go to a riot.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Right.
But there's a reason that riots happen. The wrong people in the wrong place, and they happen.
Right.
You go to an event like this, it's the complete opposite. You've got people that are there that are making hundreds of thousands, making millions, probably making $10,000 a year, but they have this right. Mm-hmm. And they're looking at something. They're looking at a mountain and going, I'm going to go up there. I got to figure out how to get there. And so I love being in that. Like, you can feel the energy, and you see the people, you see how they carry themselves. And you're like, man, that's what I want to be.
Yeah. So cool.